Imagine someone insults you. The words hit your ears, your chest tightens, your heart rate jumps. And before you even realise what's happening, the response is already leaving your mouth. Anger, defensiveness, a sharp reply. Afterwards you think, why did I say that? But in that moment, it didn't feel like a choice. It felt automatic, almost mechanical, as if someone else pressed the button. Now here's the question for today's episode. What if the difference between the life you have and the life you could have exists in a space that lasts only a few seconds? A space psychologists sometimes call the conscious pause. And learning to use that space might be one of the most powerful skills a human being can develop. Most of life happens automatically. Event, reaction. Someone criticises you, you defend yourself. Someone cuts you off in traffic, you swear. Someone ignores your message, you assume the worst. But the Austrian psychiatrist Viktor Frankl famously wrote something extraordinary. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. That space is tiny, sometimes just a breath, but inside that space lies something remarkable. The difference between reacting and choosing. Part of the reason we react so quickly comes from how the brain works. Deep inside the brain is a structure called the amygdala. Its job is simple: detect danger, react fast. It evolved to protect us from predators and threats, but the amygdala doesn't think carefully. It acts immediately. That's why anger, fear and panic can feel explosive. However, another part of the brain sits just behind your forehead, the prefrontal cortex. This is the rational planning decision-making part of the brain, but it takes a moment longer to activate. The conscious pause gives that rational system time to step in. Without that pause, the emotional brain takes over. With the pause, the thinking brain gets a chance to lead. Think of your life like a long chain of falling dominoes. Every reaction you make knocks the next one forward. An anger response creates tension. Tension creates conflict. Conflict damages relationships, and suddenly, one small reaction has created consequences months later. But the conscious pause is like reaching out and stopping the domino mid-fall. It interrupts the chain reaction, and when you interrupt that chain, you change the trajectory of what happens next. So imagine two versions of the same person. Same upbringing, same intelligence, same opportunities. The only difference is one person reacts immediately to everything. The other pauses for just 2 seconds before responding. 2 seconds, that's it. Over 10 years, those two lives will look radically different. The reactive person will create more arguments, impulsive decisions, and emotional mistakes. The pausing person will appear calmer, wiser, and more thoughtful. People will trust them more, respect them more, and opportunities will open differently. All because of 2 seconds of space. So let's look at what this pause actually looks like. In arguments, if someone criticises you, the emotional impulse is to interrupt, defend, or attack. The conscious pause sounds like, let me think about that for a moment. And suddenly the conversation changes direction. In anger, someone sends you a frustrating message. Your finger hovers over the keyboard. The response forming in your mind is sharp. But you wait, you pause, you breathe. 10 minutes later, you write something calmer. That one pause may have saved a relationship. In decision making, you see something you want to buy. Your brain whispers, you deserve this. But the pause asks a question. Do I really need it? That small moment of awareness can change your future financially over the years. The interesting thing about the pause is that it's trainable. At first it feels unnatural. You'll forget, you'll react automatically. But each time you successfully pause, you strengthen that mental muscle. Over time, the gap between stimulus and response becomes longer and larger. What once felt automatic becomes intentional. You begin responding to life like a skilled chess player, thinking several moves ahead instead of reacting instantly. So imagine your words and actions are arrows. Once released, they cannot be called back. They fly through the air and land wherever they land. Some arrows build trust, others damage relationships, some open opportunities, others close doors forever. The conscious pause is the moment before the arrow leaves the bow. It's the moment where you can still adjust your aim. Once the arrow is released, it's too late. Sometimes the pause is incredibly simple, just one breath, a slow inhale, a slow exhale. In that breath, the emotional storm inside the brain begins to calm, the thinking mind returns, and suddenly what felt urgent becomes manageable. It's amazing how a single breath can prevent a mistake. So here's a powerful question to carry with you. Will my next action make the situation better or worse? That question requires a pause. But once you ask it, you are no longer reacting blindly. You're steering your life deliberately. The conscious pause may seem small, but its impact compounds. A simple calm response instead of an angry one, a thoughtful decision instead of an impulsive one, a moment of reflection instead of regret. Over years, those moments accumulate. They shape your reputation, your relationships, your opportunities, and even your character. Because character is not built in dramatic moments. It's built in thousands of small choices. Most people move through life like passengers. Events happen, emotions surge, reactions follow. And afterward, they wonder why things turned out the way they did. But the conscious pause offers something different. It offers control. It reminds us that we are not just creatures of instinct and emotion. We are also creatures of reflection. The space between stimulus and response may be small, but inside that space lies something extraordinary. Freedom. The freedom to choose your words, your actions, your character, and ultimately, the direction of your life. So the next time something happens that triggers you, try something simple. Pause. Just for a moment. Because sometimes the smallest moment of awareness can change the entire outcome of what happens next. If you like this episode, don't forget to comment, like, follow and subscribe. And just a quick shout out to our sponsors. Strong Coffee Company, protein-packed coffee for energy and clarity. Use code Vancrux1 for 20% off at strongcoffeecompany.com. And then there's More Labs, clinically proven hydration and recovery drinks. Use code Vancrux1 for 25% off at morelabs.com. And finally, Liquor Gummies, electrolytes and vitamins for hangover prevention. Use code Vancrux1 for 20% off at liquor.com. That's liquure.com.